Amtrak President Stephen Gardner going to be joining us for the next hour with important interviews. You don't want to miss it. Coming up right after this. Stay with us.
Ready, set, go. Millions of Americans are expected to travel for the holidays as cases of COVID-19 continue to drop nationwide. Whether by plane, train, or automobile, we've got you covered. The incoming CEO from Southwest Airlines shares the latest with us on airline ticket prices. If you plan to hit the road, Turo.com CEO will drive us down the path to cheaper car rentals. And Amtrak's ready when you are. The National Railroad's president joins us to discuss the deals they have in store as Yahoo Finance Live says, all aboard. It's time for the holiday takeoff. Hello, everybody. I'm Adam Shapiro here at Moynihan Train Hall in New York City, wearing a mask because the CDC requires it, and the Transportation Security Administration isn't going to give us a break possibly until January 18th. So it's mask up if you're going to be hitting the road. But take a look behind me at what's going on. Right now, it's a Monday, it's quiet. The Thanksgiving travel holiday season begins in roughly 3 weeks. And that's why we want to get you prepared, because from planes, trains, and automobiles, millions of Americans this year are expected to hit the road. Not necessarily in the numbers we've seen in previous years before the pandemic, but the trends already are showing us that, at least with the airlines, bookings are on par with what we saw in 2019. So let's begin with the airlines. You saw the headlines over the weekend. American Airlines, more than 2,000 flights canceled. The same kind of thing happened with Southwest Airlines at the beginning of October. So a lot of people who are booking now to travel for the holidays are wondering if they can get where they want to go. We spoke with the incoming CEO at Southwest, Bob Jordan, and got his assurance that they're doing all they can to make sure you get there on time.
Oh, I would say absolutely. Travel is a critical part of everybody's life at this point, air travel. And the pandemic has caused fits and starts, and I think we've used the word messy a lot because it has been. We went from very little travel to travel just roaring back in the summer. And I'm not sure any airline was prepared for that. And we've had staffing challenges. We've had some challenges with our network because it's just not the same network we had pre-pandemic. It's thinner in that a lot of the routes just don't have the frequencies that they had before. Mm-hmm. We've gone to work to make all of that better. So we've added staffing, and we're staffing as quickly as possible. We've added, for the holidays, we've added what I would call margin. So our reserves are over 20% for our crews, which helps you operate every single day. And then last we've trimmed the November and December schedules materially in order to add margin as well. So it's all about reliability. Our customers need to get to where they're going, and they need to depend on us, and they can depend on us.
And Gary explained to us too about the hiccups in early October. You just brought up the resiliency and the metric of 20% plus.
Yes, sir.
That's a greater number than you had on standby when I think it was something 200 flights got canceled in Florida, and that cascaded into the problem.
Yeah, the Florida incident was very, very unique. So you had basically an ATC sector that was shut down for the better part of a day. Mm-hmm. And we have almost 50% of our aircraft in our network that run through Florida on any given day. And so from about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on, that stopped. And so the aircraft stopped moving, and our crews, that we have a big crew base in Orlando, crews that are in Orlando could not come into the network. Crews that needed to connect in Orlando could not connect. And so by the end of the day, you've got aircraft and you've got crews just in places they were not intended to be, and it took days to put that back together. So that's a very unique incident that I think no amount of margin would have protected. But we do have, on a typical basis, we would probably have 15% of our crews, basically spares ready for irregular operations. For the holidays, it's more like 20, 21, 22%. So I feel really good about the resiliency that we built into the holidays.
Let's talk about the holidays, because as we've seen in the reports, bookings right now are running at the same level roughly as 2019.
They are.
What does that look like? Help us understand, because you in a normal year, you'd have more than 4,000 flights a day. Right now, you're up to about 3,600.
Right.
So what does that mean that holiday bookings are on par?
What it basically means is that the bookings come in basically a predictable curve. And so you can look 60 days out, 30 days out, and understand what that day is going to perform like in terms of load factor. And so our bookings for the holidays are basically following the curve that they followed in 2019, which gives us a lot of assurance that there's demand there, and you'll see load factors that are pretty typical. We were on kind of the same track in the summer. Actually, we were above 2019 in the summer, and then the Delta variant hit, and we saw business pull back. It didn't pull back like it did earlier in 2021 or 2020, but it did pull back. And it's basically recovered after that, and we're seeing our holiday trends right in line with 2019, which is, I think, very encouraging.
So let's have some fun. Where are people booking to go for the holidays?
You know, people are booking all over. Obviously, we have a network that serves the entire country and near international, and I think we're seeing folks book as they typically would, which is visiting friends and family, going on vacation, and so we're seeing bookings strength everywhere at this point across our network, which is it's just terrific to see after the last 20 months.
When you look at the last 20 months and you see leisure demand, would it be accurate to say back where it was in 2019?
We were actually, from a leisure perspective, in the summer ahead of 2019. And then, of course, you had the Delta wave, and that pulled back. And right now, we're seeing leisure demand, I would say, back in the 2019 area. It's strengthening day by day at this point. But, yeah, we're right on top of 2019. Our business demand is still pulled back. Mm-hmm. And we were on a really good trend in the summer. And then again, the Delta wave pulled that back and stalled out our business progress. But we're seeing progress in business demand at this point again as well, which is very encouraging.
When I've heard that for the eastern part of the country, Southwest is more of a leisure airline. And for the western part of the country, it's more of a business airline. Is that accurate?
You know, I don't know if that's maybe generally. I think it's really where you serve. So you've obviously got a lot of leisure traffic into Florida. That's really what drives the East Coast. And you have more short haul traffic in California, which is really what supports and drives business travel. But no, I think we're a business person's airline because we serve a lot of points, we have a lot of frequency, and we are reliable. And so, no, I think we're strong business and leisure across the country.
When we talk about leisure, and one of the things we heard after what happened in October is that it's something like 50% of all Southwest flights touch the state of Florida in one way or another in any given day.
Right.
That's a number that's, for someone who's not an airline analyst, it's hard to understand what that looks like.
It's the nature of our airline. So we don't hub and spoke. We have a lot of what I would call focus cities. We have a lot of large cities across the country, but we don't hub and spoke. And so rather than flow an aircraft in and out of a point, we flow them around the country. It allows us to get you places one stop. It allows us to connect. So our aircraft tend to touch a number of cities. They'll flow east to west, west to east, north to south, but they run through a lot of cities on a daily basis, which is how you have 50% flowing through Florida. We have, I believe, over 100 aircraft that flow through Dallas on a daily basis. So that's not unique simply to Florida. It's the network design, which actually helps our customers and provides them a lot of choice.
What are you hearing from your crews who are in the air as people come back to flying? Because I would suspect Florida is a huge destination.
Yep.
We're going into the cold weather months and people want to go somewhere warm. What are the crews saying about the passengers who are coming on the planes?
Well, first off, it's our people are terrific. All of our people. And I've had the joy of being somewhere, and typically in a different station almost every single week. And so I have a lot of time with our crews as we're in flight and talk to them. And it's a stressful job. It's a stressful job always. They love their job. They love to be with our customers, entertain our customers. But wearing the mask, while in flight, wearing the mask all day if you're a crew member, not able to provide the level of service that we typically would, not able to show the fun and the humor and our spirit and our style, I think is tough. The sooner we can get back to normal, I think the better. But our crews are extremely resilient. They've had a tough time. We had a rough summer. And we've got a lot of folks who are retired at this point, and they're working really hard, but they're just terrific. I'm very, very proud of them.
And as we talk about the holiday travel, traditionally, which is bigger? Is it the Thanksgiving travel, or is it the Christmas travel as people go on extended vacation?
They're both. It varies by day, but they're roughly the same. Thanksgiving is, of course, a little more compact. Our Christmas travel tends to be more spread out over a longer period, but they're both roughly the same. And you have lower periods, obviously, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But no, we serve hundreds of thousands of folks on a daily basis in both cases.
And when you talk to your peers at other airlines, is there an expectation about what the holiday travel season actually is going to look like?
I think there's a lot of hope because there's a lot of demand. I think the expectation is that the holiday season looks very much like it did pre-pandemic in terms of the demand. Obviously, there's a lot of difference still. You've got the mask on in the airport, you've got the mask on in flight, and that changes a lot of the experience for us and for others. But no, I expect the demand to be very strong this holiday period.
And for Southwest, is this period the busiest season, or is it the summer travel season?
It varies. Again, it's more compact in the holidays, so the holidays are extremely busy in certain points for a week at Thanksgiving and a week at Christmas. The summer demand is there all across June and July. It's very strong. So the demand across the summer is much larger than the holidays, but it's very spread out.
Anything you want to add about holiday travel?
No, I just appreciate the time, and again, to our employees and our customers, we had a rough summer operationally, and we had a rough event on October the 8th and 9th and 10th, and I just want to apologize for that and tell you that we will and are doing better. And we will serve you, and we will provide the reliability that you expect and you deserve from Southwest Airlines, and you can depend on us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just a reminder, Bob Jordan will become the CEO at Southwest Airlines on February 1st. Southwest is the largest domestic carrier in the United States. We have much more for you live here from Moynihan Train Hall in New York City. Want to let you know that coming up, we're going to break down how travel stocks are performing amid COVID-19 as the U.S. Global Jets ETF is down more than 20% in the last 2 years. But as we go to break, take a look at the latest TSA checkpoint travel numbers. Travel this Halloween weekend rose from 2020 levels, but it still lags behind 2019 as we get ready for the holiday takeoff. Welcome back to this Yahoo Finance Live special, the Holiday Takeoff. We're getting you ready for the Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday travel rush, but stocks trade 365 days a year. So let's bring in Jared Blickery to find out what's going on in the travel sector, especially as we get into the all-important holiday travel season. Jared?
You bet, Adam. And let's go straight to the Wi-Fi Interactive, where we happen to be seeing a lot of green today. And in fact, we'll go back a little bit farther in history here, but I just want to pull up some charts. You can see Southwest is up 2%. Delta Airlines up 2%, United up 3%, but now I'm going to change this to a year to date. A lot of these stocks actually peaked in February, March, April of this year. Let's just pull up Airbnb. We can see what's going on here. Yes, peaked before March, probably February in there, and now just kind of chopping and pretty much in the center of its range for the year. You take a stock like American Airlines, that's up 23% for the year. It's in the middle of its range. Let's take a look at Avis Budget Group. Now, this is a little bit of a different story here. This stock has been on a tear for quite a while. It's up 362% year to date, as you can see on its screen, and hitting record highs only recently, well, very recently. But most of these other stocks have not. Let's take a look at Hilton Worldwide. We can see that is a stock that has recovered, broken out of its trading range. A lot of the airlines simply haven't, though. And you take a look at Spirit Airlines, another airline that has been plagued by cancellations over the summer. You can see this stock peaked in March, April of this year, and it is now negative year to date. The Delta variant really forced the stocks down for a lot of these companies. Now, we can also go to the transports. Now, a lot of these companies here aren't necessarily travel companies, but in the same vein, we are seeing them at record highs in a lot of the cases. And if we take a look at the Dow Transports here, they only reached record highs, I believe, late last week. And this is a really interesting development because this kind of supports a reopening trade. We had a huge surge in breadth. We had the industrials rallying. We had the transports rallying. All this gets back to the service sector, the travel sector, and we are seeing record highs for a number of companies that are doing the transporting, but not necessarily transporting the people. So that's something that we want to see catch up as well. When we see some of these airlines making record highs, and no idea if or when that would be, then we can say probably the worst of the COVID and Delta variant are in the rear view mirror. But for today, and we'll go back to an intraday view, seeing a lot of gains here. Norwegian Cruise Line in the upper left, that stock is up 4%. And we've been talking about the airlines here, cruise lines, very similarly situated. Adam.
Jared, thank you very much. You just heard Jared mention COVID in the rear view mirror. Rear view mirror is important because as you get ready to hit the road, you might be looking to rent a car. Coming up, Turo CEO Andre Haddad joins us to discuss his expectations for holiday travel amid the car rental shortage and why he thinks electric vehicle bookings could rev up this year. And before we go to break, I had the chance to speak with Southwest Airlines head of flight training because you know the airlines are all trying to hire all kinds of people, including flight attendants. Here's a little bit of that discussion.
Welcome to Southwest Airlines Flight 234, nonstop service to San Francisco.
And I have to press this?
Right here. Push to talk.
So you put while you're talking?
Yes.
There's a colonial woman on the wing. I'm quoting the movie Bridesmaids, you know.
You gotta do that.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
again. Welcome back to this Yahoo Finance Live special, the Holiday Takeoff. So we've covered the airline industry, but a lot of people are going to hit the road simply by driving, as they've done in years past. But there's a bit of sticker shock if you're going to rent a car. We've heard the horror stories, people going, say, to Portland, Maine from New York, spending $400 to rent a car just for 3 days. You don't have to go that route, especially if you try renting a car through Turo. The CEO of Turo, Haddad, joins us now to explain how the peer-to-peer car rental platform is helping lower the costs and get more people behind the wheel. Thank you for joining us, Haddad. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, Adam. Delighted to be here.
So very simply put, explain to us with the platform, how does it work? If I have a car, I put the car up for rent, and then you connect me with potential renters?
Absolutely. It works like any other platform works in other spaces. You know, if you have a car that you're interested in sharing and earning some money with, if you're not using it all the time, which is the case for the vast majority of cars, you can download the app on your phone. We've got an iOS app, we've got an Android app. You can also use us on the web. And you can become a host and start your small car sharing business on the platform by listing your car or multiple cars if you've got multiple cars. And we'll immediately start bringing business your way. And we've seen hundreds of thousands of people become hosts over the last many years as the business has grown tremendously. And in particular, during these times where there's been a car rental crunch, there's been horror stories around the cars that are unavailable in many destinations or the prices are being too high. We've seen many new hosts jump on the platform and list their cars, and they've been having a banner year thanks to the earnings that they're generating with their cars.
You know, when we talk about the cost of a rental car, that story I told introducing you is a true story. It's a friend of mine who got hit with that $400 bill for just 3 days in Portland, Maine. If you go through Turo, you can actually rent two, say, for a month, and the average daily cost is much cheaper than, say, going through the traditional route. What brings the price down? Does the host of the car set the price? How does that work?
Well, one of the things that are really unique about Turo is the extraordinary selection of vehicles that we've got. So, unlike a traditional legacy rental car operator that has only a few types of vehicles available at any one time, we've got more than 1,300 makes and models that are available on the platform. So we've got everything, and you can imagine on the planet in terms of makes and models and years of makes. So as a result of this extraordinary selection, there's literally choices and options at any price point, everything starting at $10 a day to multiple hundreds of dollars a day if you're looking for a super fancy sports car. So as a result, we found that many of our guests are finding that they can find great value on the platform, and we're delighted to connect these guests to our hosts. Hosts ultimately make the decision on what price they want to share their car at. So we give them some guidance about the price. There are different types of prices: daily prices, weekly prices, and monthly prices, as you highlighted. And we give them guidance on the discounts that they can offer. We show them competitive pricing. So our hosts ultimately, though, they are empowered to make the final call on what price they want to charge for their vehicle.
Is that something they can do through the app?
Absolutely, yes. They can see all the pricing recommendations through the app, and then they can just decide whether they're going to follow these recommendations, or if they want to price the car the way they want to. They can price it per day. They can decide the discount that they want to offer for weekly rentals or for monthly rentals. They can offer early booking discounts for those who book early, which is great for people who are booking for Thanksgiving, for booking for Christmas or New Year's. These are the times where you can find the best prices when you're booking a bit early.
So two-part last question for you. First, what are you seeing as far as the EV trend? Because I know Tesla, the desire to rent a Tesla is skyrocketed. And when will people in New York be able to do this? Because right now we can't use Turo in New York State.
We've seen tremendous growth in the EV and alternative fuel space. In fact, we have the largest selection of EV and alternative fuel vehicles in the country. And Tesla is obviously one of the more popular EV brands, but we've also got a lot of other EVs. And as you know, many manufacturers are coming with a lot of different EV models over the last couple of years. So we're super delighted with the growth of EVs and alternative fuels on the platform. Just to give you a sense of the numbers, back in 2012, when we started the business, we started with very few EV listings. You can see it on your screen. Less than 100 listings were available that were EVs back then. And we are currently right over 21,000 listings. So there's been just an explosion in growth in EVs. And we're finding that Turo has become a great place for people to do an extended test drive of an EV. As they're thinking of shopping for an EV, they want to try it for a day, for a weekend, for even a week to see if it works well with their commute and to understand how charging works, how the new technology works, and if it's got an impact on their lives. And we see that growth continuing to escalate over the next many months. In particular, this travel season, we're seeing. Yes.
In 10 seconds, when in New York? Are we going to get the ability to do this in New York?
Very soon, very, very soon. So, the peer-to-peer car sharing law has been voted favorably for by the Assembly and the Senate this year. We're waiting for the governor to sign, and then we'll be up and running in New York.
And we wish you all the best, because there are a lot of people here in New York who want to get behind the wheel. The CEO of Turo, Andre Haddad, thank you so much for joining us. We continue our look at the holiday travel season with the Holiday Takeoff, because coming up, all aboard, Amtrak President Stephen Gardner will join me and Yahoo Finance Live, weighing in on his holiday travel expectations right here live from Moynihan Train Hall. And before we go to break, take a look at the latest data on holiday travel searches. Domestic and international travel searches have actually leveled out from the summer spike, according to Kayak. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Yahoo Finance Live Holiday Takeoff Travel Special. We are at one of New York City's major train terminals, the Moynihan Train Hall, and we've got with us the president of Amtrak, Stephen Gardner, to talk about people hitting the rails, and thank you for joining us. Are you 100% back to the kind of train schedule we had before the pandemic, and if not, how far do we have to go to get there?
Thanks, Adam. No, we're still a few percentages below our normal schedule pre-pandemic. So we're about 90%, depending on the region of the country. And we're having, throughout the year, an increase in service as we see demand growing over through the holiday period and then, of course, into next year.
And we should point out, by the way, we are wearing masks inside this ginormous train terminal because the CDC requires us to wear masks, and they've not set a deadline as to when that would change. On the trains, you have to wear a mask as well, correct?
Absolutely.
What kind of protocol does Amtrak have in place on the trains? For instance, the airlines like to point out they have these ventilation systems with HEPA filters. What about on the train?
Yeah, so our trains have really been a very safe way to travel throughout the pandemic. We have, of course, a mask mandate, as you just mentioned, a whole touchless process where you can get your ticket on your phone and be able to have it scanned remotely from our conductors. Great circulation throughout the equipment. Unlike Airline, we of course stop every 20 or so miles. The whole train gets fresh air. We have circulation throughout the cabin. Every 5 minutes, a complete replacement of that air. So we've had really good experience so far, and people have been telling us that they feel safe on board Amtrak.
I think we have some video, by the way, of this lovely brand new train hall here in New York City. If you're familiar with Manhattan, we're right across the street from Penn Station. This is now where Amtrak and Long Island Railroad, a lot of trains are departing from this terminus. This was a huge project. You're counting on new federal money to upgrade the system. Where do we stand? For instance, the tunnel that if you ride from Washington to come into Manhattan, that tunnel was built, that goes under the Hudson, was built in 1878. When are we getting a new tunnel?
Yeah, so that tunnel was actually built in 1910, but similar age and problem. So we're working on starting that project as part of our Gateway program. Right now we're in the design period, so we're looking to start hopefully construction here in the next couple of years. We're already acquiring the property and getting ready to go. The infrastructure bill that Congress and the administration have been working on would provide the kind of real financial resources we need to get those projects started.
What do you say to people who might say, look, I love to drive because of what we've experienced with COVID. I prefer to drive than to be in some kind of public transportation setting like a train. What would you say to them?
Well, there's nothing that compares to rail travel from the center city to the center city. When we've got reliable, frequent, trip time competitive service, it's the most convenient way to go. And in fact, we've been adding about 500,000 new riders, folks who have never ridden Amtrak before, every month over these past several months, because people see that it's a convenient, reliable way to get from our core cities and to connect to those smaller towns and locations around the country, particularly some of our great national parks. We've seen a lot of increase in ridership for leisure travel and folks looking to explore America by train.
Share with us, if you can, the kind of trends you're seeing just for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We know the airlines talk about bookings being ahead and back to levels we saw in 2019. What are you seeing?
Yeah. We're about 70% of bookings pre-COVID, so 2019 levels about 70%. We're about 65 to 70% in ridership, so we're on our way back up. For Thanksgiving, we are seeing strong demand. We really do feel like people are deciding this year to maybe travel, take that trip they didn't take last year to visit friends and family. And so we do expect it to be a busy travel season for us around Thanksgiving at Amtrak.
Having ridden the Acela and the Regional a lot before the pandemic, I have to ask you, pricing. I mean, the Acela, it's a high-speed train. Sometimes it's comparable to the shuttle between, the air shuttle between New York and Washington, but the Regional, which only takes 30 minutes longer, was always an incredible bargain. Sometimes it's like 58 bucks. What kind of prices are we seeing now?
Yeah, well, we've really extended our prices to really attract a whole new set of folks. As you and all of the travel industry knows, business travel is down, continues to be down. It's starting to come back up, but we've used this as an opportunity to really broaden our pricing, reach a whole new set of travelers, particularly that younger traveler who maybe never took Amtrak before, 18 to 35-year-olds. They have increased their ridership on Amtrak very significantly. And we've been able to attract, as I said, about 500,000 new folks to our system every month. And pricing is a big part of that because we have more seats available. We're able to have more flexible pricing, and people have been given the train a try. And we hope to make them lifelong riders, get them experience like this at Moynihan. They see how great and convenient it can be, and then stay with us.
I got to tell you, you had me at the big wide seats with leg room. But what would you say as we wrap up to people watching right now? Most of us use Amtrak, as you said, intercity. Is there an emphasis to go beyond intercity, maybe the overnight trips, even longer trips?
So our overnight trips have really actually been our best performer throughout the pandemic. People like the ability to have their own private room that you can have in our long distance sleeper trains. And there's a real interest in getting out and traveling across America, particularly visiting those sort of iconic destinations like Glacier National Park. So we have seen an increase in that business. We're busy investing in our fleet and upgrading the quality of our accommodations there to continue that ridership growth, hopefully as business overall returns.
We wish you and the team at Amtrak the best. Stephen Gardner is Amtrak's president, and we again are live here at Moynihan Station. But we're not done yet. As Amtrak would say, ready when you are. And if you are ready, it's time to book your travel. Coming up is the time to book your holiday travel, according to CEO of Flights and Hotel Booking Analyzer Hopper. We've got those details next.
And so our bookings for the holidays are basically following the curve that they followed in 2019, which gives us a lot of assurance that there's demand there, and you'll see load factors that are pretty typical. We were on kind of the same track in the summer. Actually, we were above 2019 in the summer, and then the Delta variant hit, and we saw business pullback. It didn't pull back like it did earlier in 2021 or 2020, but it did pull back.
Welcome back to Moynihan Train Hall here in New York City. I'm Adam Shapiro. This is a Yahoo Finance Live special, the Holiday Takeoff. And you just heard incoming Southwest Airlines CEO Bob Jordan talking about travel trends as we head toward the holiday season. And one of the things he told us here at Yahoo Finance Live is that ticket prices don't look for a lot of discounts because they're pretty much set for the holiday travel season. And in all of the earnings reports, the airlines were warning about raising ticket prices because of the increase in jet fuel prices. Let's talk about getting your ticket now, how you can do that and get the best possible price. We want to bring in Fred Lalonde. He is the co-founder and CEO at Hopper, which is the online app where you can do more than just book a ticket. It's good to have you here, Mr. Lalonde. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us what you're seeing as far as searches and bookings for the holiday travel season.
All of the data that we track at Hopper is telling us that for domestic travel, the time to book your holiday travel is now. Most definitely, prices are not going down, they're actually going up. If you look at just demand as a leading indicator to how airlines set prices, holiday travel rates are already up 105% in the last month, in the last 30 days. Domestic airfare is holding around $300. Anything around Thanksgiving, if you're looking at Christmas, you're closer to $400. So these are pre-pandemic price levels that we're seeing, and prices are going to continue to rise.
So tell us about people who go on Hopper. A lot of us think of you as a travel site, but there's a fintech application to this because you have price freezing, you have cancel for any reason, and flight disruption guarantee. Look what happened with American Airlines over the weekend. How does all of that work, and how does that protect people who might be traveling for the holidays?
So Hopper is actually the #1 travel app in North America. We're the most downloaded app. And what we do is a few things. We predict future airfare. So we will tell you for the flight you're looking at when the right time to buy. As I said, that's pretty much now for anywhere you're going to. The financial products we offer are designed to add protection and convenience for people that are booking. Most of these were developed during and even before the pandemic. We freeze prices. So we'll actually hold a price for you while you make up your mind. If the price goes down, you pay the lowest of the two. If it goes up, Hopper will pay the difference to the airline. We offer this for hotels too. By the way, hotel prices are up 40% since the beginning of the year, so it's a great product. We offer all sorts of other flexibility products. One of our most popular one right now is the disruption protection. So if the flight is late for any reason or obviously canceled, you can rebook directly in the Hopper app on any airline at $0. All of the flights leaving the airport you're stuck at are free, and you can do this directly in the app, no waiting, no calling, no talking to anybody.
This is key because we've been talking today about what happened at American. Before that, it was Southwest. All of the airlines have had this issue at some point because they've admitted their staffs are not what they need for the capacity they've added. So if we hear you correctly, if I was, say, hypothetically, an American passenger yesterday and I had that disruption protection, I could have booked a flight on another airline at no extra cost through the Hopper app?
Yep, that's correct. And about currently 20% of our flight bookings have the disruption protection attached. And the point is, our airline partners are struggling on staffing, on routing, and we also have the winter weather that's coming in. We're seeing record numbers of flights being delayed, canceled, or other forms of disruption. So the product basically lets you get on to the next available flight at any cost. We actually will pay the difference in full to the airline you're booking on. This comes at a nominal fee. Typically, it's going to be anywhere between 6 and 14% of your ticket price. Right now, it's super popular because there's a record number of disruptions, and especially for holiday travel, a lot of these are on key dates. You don't want to miss Thanksgiving. You want to get there on time.
Yeah, listen, I think a lot of people listening to us right now are thinking, I need to get that disruption insurance, I'll call it. But I got to ask you, how do you make money if you're guaranteeing all of these things because prices are going up? Disruptions are happening in ways we haven't seen ever.
This is actually a good question. Most of our revenue today comes from these financial products. So we have a whole portfolio. We freeze flights. We allow people to get rebooked. We also make non-changeable tickets or non-refundable hotel rooms refundable. We can do this because of our big data advantage. Hopper was founded as a prediction engine a while ago, and we are extremely good at seeing the future, at basically knowing the risk that a flight will be delayed or that somebody will want to change their ticket. With data, we create risk pools. So everybody pitches in $20, and if something goes wrong for a particular passenger or customer, Hopper pays the difference. And as you know, because we use machine learning and artificial intelligence, if you're able to predict the future at scale, you can actually insure customers against risk in the way we do it. These are protection products. They're not insurance. So you immediately get the service back through the app, and we basically make the money on the breakage. When things go well, we pocket the difference. These products have a super high repeat rate, and especially since the pandemic, they have been more popular than ever.
I have a feeling you're going to see a rush to the app from this interview because of the hundreds of thousands of people who on a daily basis are tuning in and watching the different videos here on Yahoo Finance Live. One of the headaches when you get disrupted on a flight is when you call the airline and they say, we'll call you back in 5 hours. With the Hopper app, is it instantaneous? Is there a phone interface with a human being, or is it all through the app?
Everything runs through the app first. We have the ability to obviously do a voice call, but all of our customers have access. It's actually straight on the homepage once you've booked. We also offer a program right now, which is a nominal amount. It's only a few dollars, that we call VIP support. And on that, we have a 15-minute response time, and we tend to respond in under 5 minutes. I know, and a lot of our customers have reached out to me through various means. Right now, getting support and service when something goes wrong is extremely difficult. So about 3/4 of all of the changes, cancellations, refunds that you need to do, you can self-serve in the app. So there's no wait time. And especially if you've bought the premium VIP package, which we recommend, we have a team that's dedicated globally to answer in minutes. This is actually why a lot of these products are so popular and people buy them over and over again. It's because it alleviates some of the service pains that people are experiencing when they travel right now.
And of course, the fear that you're going to get delayed or disrupted, because we keep seeing it happen over and over again. Frederic Lalonde is the CEO at Hopper. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a successful travel season as we head towards Thanksgiving and Christmas. Coming up, live from Moynihan Train Hall, Yahoo Finance's poll. We're going to reveal whether Americans plan on traveling this holiday season during the coronavirus pandemic. Those results are straight ahead. And before we go to break, take a look at the latest data on unruly passengers. Airlines saw the number of unruly passenger investigations surge in 2021, and now we have the Secretary of Transportation saying there should be a no-fly list for those passengers who are unruly. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to this Yahoo Finance Live special, the Holiday Takeoff. If your get up and go got up and went away during the pandemic, it's time to take control. We've been asking people on Twitter, we've been conducting a poll on whether they intend to travel for the holiday season. Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Inez Ferre, because the results are somewhat revealing. What are we seeing in this poll, Inez?
Well, Adam, we asked people if they would be traveling this holiday season, or are they skipping gatherings amid the coronavirus pandemic? And these are the results. 44.5% of the respondents said that they are traveling. 32% said that they are staying home. 11.9% said guests are coming to them, and 11.5% said they haven't decided yet. So almost 45% of the respondents said that they are traveling. So the pandemic isn't holding back their plans. Higher prices are not holding back their plans either, apparently. And Adam, I found it very interesting also that 11.5% haven't decided yet, and 32% said that they're staying home. Those that haven't decided yet, like all your guests had said previously, Adam, prices are only going to go up from here. Flight prices are only going to go up from here. We know that there are high energy prices at the pump as well. And I was taking a look at some advisors from AAA, basically, some advice basically saying that you should give yourself a pad of a day in between your travel, so a day here and a day there, just to pad it, just in case you have some hiccups when it comes to those travel plans.
Inez, I don't know if you have access right now to the Yahoo Finance page, but what's going on with, for instance, airline stocks? Because since they peaked at the beginning of the year with the anticipated recovery, they kind of stalled out. Where are they headed today?
Yeah, let's take a look at where we're at with our travel page on Yahoo Finance. We're taking a look at these are all the reopening trades, and I just want to show you right now. We're looking at the intraday. So we've got UAL, American Airlines. Those are higher today, up more than 2%. We've got the cruise liners that are also higher as well. I want to also point out, of course, Airbnb. We count that also as a travel stock. That's up 2%. But if we take a look at the year-to-date chart, I just think that it's interesting what we're seeing here with some of the players here. We're watching Avis budget. This is up year to date. You can take a look, up 360%. We're also looking at American Airlines up 24%. So the airlines are seeing double-digit growth in some of them. You've got Southwest, though, that's only up 4% year to date. And then the hotel operators, as your previous guest was saying, hotel prices are up. We're seeing Marriott, Hilton, those are up more than 20% year to date. Adam.
Inez, thank you very much. As we wrap up here, a couple things you should know about what's coming down the pike. First, a week from today, Monday the 8th, the new travel guidelines for foreign travelers ease up here in the United States. This is crucial for international travel. Airlines like United, 50% of their revenue is from international travel. So those new restrictions, which are much easier than the old ones, go into place on Monday the 8th. You want to keep an eye on that. And then there's these pesky masks, which cause your glasses to fog up when you're talking to people. No end in sight for this. The TSA has said that they will revisit the mask policy by January 18th. The CDC says it is indefinite. So we will be keeping an eye on that for you. We appreciate you joining us here this hour for the Yahoo Finance Live Holiday Takeoff. We're going to get back to market coverage right after this.
New month, new record highs on Wall Street, but the same old problems of inflation, a tight labor market, high energy costs, and supply chain curses persist. So how long do the good times roll on for equities? World leaders gather in Scotland today to outline their commitment to solving the climate issue. At a UN climate summit, the UK's Prime Minister is kicking things off, saying the world is strapped to a doomsday device. We get the latest from our reporter on the ground. And as consumers continue to spend into the holiday season, supply chains continue to feel the pressure, now impacting the clothes you put on your back. We'll explain. Welcome to Yahoo Finance. I'm Karina Mitchell, along with